said that. I didn't come here to talk about how you love and how I want your week to be great. No, I came to talk about something important because every day we gather here, we always have something on the table. Conversations that will run up until 3 p.m. on the sunny side today is what I'm about to reel out to you. Before we go on a commercial break and then come back and start the first conversation in full, demanding accountability from appointed and elected leaders. How do we intend to demand accountability from the newly inaugurated commissioners in the states? And 1 o'clock to 2 o'clock, we'll have the news, and thereafter BBC Talk Your Own. But we'll be back at the 2 to 3 o'clock hour for Family Matters with the Osiri, in continuation of where we left off last week, the 21 Types of Men, Part 3. For our first conversation, join us on Twitter. Twitter handle is at Nigeria Info PH. Join us on Facebook as well. It is Nigeria Info 92.3 PH. When we come back, I'll read out the numbers to call. But in the meantime, go there, read through the post, and drop your comments in the comment section. We're going to commercial break. When we come back, the show starts in full. Just stay tuned.
The round table is back.
Welcome back. So it is time to talk about demanding accountability from appointed and elected leaders. I will start the conversation by asking a very, very pertinent question. If you can answer the question, well, you can do it from wherever you are. Maybe I'll get the answers wired to me some way, somehow, some spiritual stuff. Of what use is government and governance when they can't be held accountable? Of what use is a government that can't be held accountable? Now, I'm going to take us down memory lane. We're going to go back to the 2023 general elections when so many of us turned out en masse to vote for our preferred leaders or preferred candidates, as it were. It spanned across the local government level through to the state level up until the presidential level. And while a lot of us may disagree that who eventually emerged may not be our choice candidate, some persons will say the people that were eventually elected were the choice candidates. So it's a between, this is not interesting. But away from the post, that's what that leads to good governance and a government that we all can be proud of. So let's say selected, the person is in isolation. It's possible. They say no man is an island. I mean, for me to be able to do my work effectively today, put everything together with a technical team, for instance. They ensure that the sound in this studio is perfect. That's why when you hear my voice, you fall in love. On a lighter note, though, when you hear my voice, it comes out clear to you. It sounds, it's something you want to listen to. You're not going to tune off and say, the sound from that station is very, very poor. Let me go to another station with a better sound, though. So kudos to the technical team. They make my work easy. Then there is the digital team, digital media. We have people who are studio assistants as well. The digital team is in charge of social media. All the beautiful designs you see put out on our social media handles, courtesy of them. So they make the design, they pre-sell, they ensure that while I'm here talking, you can watch me from anywhere in the world, as long as you go to Twitter at Nigeria Info PH or you go to Facebook Nigeria Info 92.3 PH. A team is in charge of internet and all the workings around it. They ensure that those of you who are not within River State can listen from any part of the world. They set up a mobile application. All you need to do is download and go to location and listen from any part of the world, or probably go to our website www.nigeriainfo.fm, and you get to listen live. And then you get to be a part of the conversation here. There's a call screener on standby. What that means is whenever it is time for me to start taking your calls, that person takes your call first, gets your name, gets your location, gets your input, and then passes you on to me in the studio. I have a programs manager who ensures that whenever I come on air, I do not come here to come and do nonsense. It's his job to put me on my toes, and then, to assist them. He reports back to someone. Oh, there's electricity here in the studio as we speak. It means that there is maintenance. Is it technical maintenance? I don't know. But there are people in that department that ensure that there is power constantly. That's why we do not go off air all the time. It's the same thing with governance, simply put. It's the same thing that happens in your family. You have mother, father, salary responsibility of doing this and that. And there are children, salary responsibility of doing this, and that. So if you want something to work, if I want something to work here in the studio, it means that these other people have to do their jobs right. Now, if they're not doing their jobs right, it is my duty to get them to be accountable to me. Why is this mic sounding off? The mic is doing wing, 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 wing. And they say, it's because of this, and that. I may not understand all those things, but that is their area of specialty, and that is why we have them here. So let's bring it to governance. I think you understand the concept by now. We have local government chairmen, we have governors, we have presidents, we have councillors in our different words. We have senators representing our senatorial districts. And now, in River State, we have inaugurated our commissioners for this government. Yay! Yes. But my question to you is very simple. As much as you want things to work, you can't sit in your houses or call the radio station every now and then to report about certain things not going right in your area, in your local government, in your state. So I'm extending this conversation to go beyond River State, because River State is not the only state that will have newly inaugurated commissioners. Other states would as well. So if you're listening from other parts of Nigeria, you can and you should join the conversation. Now, I listened to the conversation Jude had before he left the studio today. It was hinged around those of you who oppose or support the motion of the newly elected governor having people from the previous government inaugurated in his dispensation, or in his era, or in his tenure, simply put, as commissioners again. I listened to some of your comments. Some of you said, well, it's a good thing. The last person I listened to, I remember his exact words. He said, if road smooths, then they pass them 2 times. Then they pass them again. So it simply means that if they had done a good job in the previous administration, it's no big deal. It shouldn't be a problem at all bringing them in to this current administration. Now let's talk about accountability. Simply put, if we want to define accountability for everyone to understand, it is simply, the fact or condition of being accountable. More like responsibility. So when you say you will do this and do this and do this and do that, or it is your responsibility to do this and do this and do this and do that, how do we get you to do them? How are you answerable to us? How are you able to tell us that this is how far you have thrived? And maybe you had experienced some little glitches along the way. What are the steps forward? Okay? How can you even also bring us into what is happening in your government, in your ministry, that which has been assigned to you? How certain are we that you will do your job? How can we hold them accountable? Is the conversation. I hope with my explanation you understand what I'm trying to say in simple terms. So very straightforward. How do we get, or how do we intend to demand accountability? It's not the job of Nigeria Info. Yes, for so long we've been both judge, jury, police, and so many things to as many of you that listen. We are glad that you believe so much in us to find a way around some of these things, but no, it's not our responsibility this time. We're shifting it to you. How do we intend to demand accountability from the newly inaugurated commissioners in River State and in the several other states that will have same happen? The number to call is 070 0923 0923 070 0923 0923. WhatsApp and Telegram number is 0809 0306416 0809 0306416. You can send us a message on Twitter if you're watching live. Please join the conversation. Don't just watch, also engage. 070 0923 0923 once again is the numbers to call. The number to call, I beg your pardon, and then Twitter at Nigeria Info PH, Facebook page Nigeria Info 92.3 PH. I have my first caller already. Mr. Zion is calling from GRA. Good afternoon to you, Mr. Zion. Go ahead.
Good afternoon to you.
Good afternoon. Welcome.
No individual can hold his government accountable.
Okay.
No individual. So what does the system provide? The office of the citizens or the office of the people, which constitutes opinion leaders, constitutes non-governmental organizations, constitute churches, religious, mosques, mention it. These are the components of the office of the people or the office of the citizens. In Nigeria, have we inaugurated that office? Is it functioning? If it is functioning, why are we having all these issues in government? Next swallows money is missing, uncompleted projects, elephant projects. But a system where the office of the citizen have been inaugurated by the system hold the government accountable through the church, through the mosque, through the and so. So in Nigeria, which most people who agree the big issues on week. And of course, what did you learn talking? Keep quiet. What year or learn money, the talk again, then keep quiet. Not the people define what is only. And more than one of you says, because when I use people as only weak and only for food, eat. And the people conscious about the option because of the other matter, they also stifle them. So if we have the only animal who are because the citizens will take and by individuals who are open leaders, how well can you mobilize your people against Governor Zion? That has not been on ground. Oh, certainly. Nothing. Nothing. So can we do what of things? So all the outbreak in the of the city but now it is well.
All right. Thank you so much, Mrs. Zia. Now, I don't know if you've heard of state official program a check on government activity in the interest of the citizen and to also oversee the investigation of complaints of improper government assistance. This was things we thought as far as the 90s in governments. First of movements and probably an accident. Now, it brings to question whether or not they did perform their duties or whether you did take advantage of the public complaints function. Let's hear from you, Miles. Very good.
My name is Chris.
Come on,
come on, man. You see that everybody is doing what you say. There's nowhere they are going to cash out. In the country, where we find ourselves in a nearest it was used the INEC adjunct staff. What happened? It's time we to pre-sanitize our mind before I think we need to go directly. But if you move out to the average you need, just stop him. What is the problem? We'll tell you if we want to. And in a country like Nigeria, in such a scenario, we're going to a very serious
okay, Mr. Bird, can I get much average Nigerian wants to cash out? Working in this country is not good. If I join this environment, without out, having an element will mean that all that is required for me to successfully thrive in the business force. It will have good roads. It will mean that I have electricity. It will mean that it's and polluted by soot or any rain. It will also mean that payments every maximum every will come and say, you know what, I'm not taxed. This is the one you're supposed to pay. Everything is working fine. I have right out. It's not something that is out of place to ask for.
In which of the country we are working well already?
Well, if they were working well, a great percentage, some of our brothers be wanting to back. Being honest, come on.
That here, I partially agree with you that is what is youth heart, youth and also should have worked it out. I was very important. So, and the cash now, they're going to the right action. So, we want cash out. Then you have struggle to make a leakage. That's one test and the back of
all right, thank you, Ms. Muriel. It's Cliff from Okita. Hi, Muriel. Welcome. Good afternoon.
Not and some company or one NGO that can monitor government. I think this was national for and they'll be sent of the government. One that is
are we saying
independent? Let me international meaning. Example country is registered to be the International Criminal Court and some profession that corrupt that can hold nations accountable to how they treat their citizens. If our country, for example,
Muriel, hold on. I want us to drive this conversation somewhere. You don't want to be real. Muriel, if you hear me. If something is still in house, would you go to international community? If something is also in live, would you go to international community?
This you mentioned country. So when you talk about some countries have with sorry from but you don't have rights. I think it's not a social non-governmental organization. I'm sorry, the family where people are on the to hold their family and make well. But now I don't know how we just individuals can come up and check these also.
Okay. It's afternoon actually. Good afternoon. Good afternoon to you. Afternoon. Go ahead. Yes. How do we into demand accountability during the great place in the that is why they both are put and elected.
highlight their message. Because the government will not be able to share their performance, also on themselves to highlight the message of the commissioners in their greater ministry. The government will function information as you are confused, and if possible, or ensure that they do the right thing. Really will come and come accountable.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right, thank you very much. WhatsApp number again is 0809 00616 and 0809 0306416. Number 4 is 0700923 0923 0700923 on WhatsApp. You can send your messages if you send them on also put down this at Nigeria Info page, and the Facebook page is Nigeria Info 2.3 page. So for appointed and elected leaders. Now the law makes something up the leaders are appointed. And I can go back to what I tried to explain from the beginning. To a system. Okay. It's sort of symbolic if you ask me. The governor will need these commissions to do their part, so that it will get smoothly over him. He cannot obviously do everything. It's not possible. Is there somewhere I cannot both personnel and action and digital media and PM and internet and everything all at once? Okay? That's how it's going to be for him as well. They also cannot rate rather portfolio, and won't have the portfolio, of course. It will be the governor. So, one way or the other, they have to. It is essential that they work together for progress in the state. In every other state, be it Abia State, be it Lagos State, be it Edo State, be it any state in the country. I'm going to make sure that is impossible. I should be seeking for information, and I cannot hold the Commission for Information accountable. I should be bothered about something happening in the educational sector in River State. I should have complaints about schools that are meant to be free, or teachers in those schools still needing fees from the students. And I should be able to do something about it somehow. How does the Commissioner of Education hear that XYZ thing is happening in XYZ school? So maybe it's not a case of the school extorting the students and parents. If it's a case of things that has to be basic to ensure the smooth running of the school not be meaningful. For instance, no exos, no conducive environment, lack of heat in some of the schools. This is this thing I can think top of my head to dive on my point. We'll try on this conversation. So the people are supposed to be responsible somehow. How do we make them responsible? How do we make them accountable? How can we demand? Now, somebody has said it's not up to us as individuals to do so. So when we come back from this commercial break, it will tell us whose responsibility it should be to demand accountability. Stay tuned with us. The government can be accountable. We're talking demanding accountability from a point elected leaders. Pay attention to the newly inaugurated commissioners in the state. And I asked, how do we intend to demand accountability from these ministers of River State? And I thought I mentioned that it is not up to the so who then? I mean, if it's an individual, who makes up the larger society? Who makes up the citizens? You know, not you, individuals. 070-0923 0923 070-0923-0923 is the number to call, and then WhatsApp Telegram number is 0809-030-6416. I should be able to send one more call before we go on the news break, and then we come back to round off the conversation. So let's see who's on the line. Nigerian folk, good afternoon to you. Welcome to the sunny side. Go ahead.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Hello.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Welcome.
Yeah, my name is Shina Sageshwala, and I'm calling you from Fine.
You're welcome. Go ahead.
Yeah, you're
Yes.
Yeah. Well, and so very people responsible for the job and the offices they are occupying. Is it?
Yes, exactly.
Okay. So your thing to say is that this functional point, something that number one is loyalty to and so if there's an appointment for the management of the office, then we can be sort of fully accountable. You understand? Okay. So you cannot hold the ones that have appointed them. There's no way you can hold my account because it will be a that can be purpose. You understand? Now, another thing is, Nigeria is where people see opportunities. If they don't support and you ever in the game,
I want you now. The news on this reconstitution. So you're back to the computer. The news on the short edition. Before the newsbreak, certain caller was highlighting his response to the question asked of how we as a Japan, in this case, the North Commission and the Association should be run off that conversation and a commercial break, and there will be time for BT. Don't forget to get your files 7 09207009692. WhatsApp number is 0809 036416. Once again, number is 0416. If you're unable to us at other lines, remember you can always send us a message. I hope you'll come in the comment section, Facebook, and also Twitch. Response us on Twitter, 070 the number to call. Nigerian, good afternoon. Welcome back to the station.
Hello.
Hi, welcome. Go ahead.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
My name is Biggs Forever.
Biggs, you're welcome.
I listen to your station because I love the comments, the topics you raise. What I'm asking is, before conclusions are made, is that late with government for them to make this state call to you?
Okay, to answer to questions,
Okay, what the people send the person to them, we hope that they do something with the information they get.
Okay, so that is your contribution to the conversation.
Thank you very much. God bless you all.
Oh, thank you very much. I can't categorically say is recorded or put down in format and sent to the government, but then again, I also would like to strongly be for government that wants to survive and is oriented. They should take advantage of some of these conversations. It is an opinion poll on how things should be done. But the conversation is more about us because it developed to grow. That's why we say we talk for development and improvement. So I hope I have cleared the air on that. We don't work for the government, just so you know. We do not work for the government. We are solely independent agency. No parties, no government. And so we're not doing the governor's work. We are doing our job. And that is part of giving people the platform to express themselves. 070-0923 0923 is the number to call once again. 070-0923 0923 and 0893. We are the media, and we are the watchdog of the society. Ida is calling from Nkoro. Good afternoon to you, Ida. Welcome. Go ahead.
Yes. Are you talking about the employment of the commissioners?
Ida, for how long have you been listening?
No, I just tuned my radio now.
Okay, when you tune your radio now, next time, Ida, please. Do well to... Yes, can you hear me, Ida?
I'm hearing you.
Good. So please, next time when you tune your radio... Okay, the River State Governor did inaugurate new commissioners to serve. Commissioners, which some of you for and against, is that he wanted to consolidate on the achievements of the previous administration. Consolidating on the achievements meaning she lost. They will need for it to do because our we think it's important to definition until now. It's important. The reason we end this class as we that we are responsible. So they don't just occupy offices. They do not just bear names and are addressed with certain titles, and they do not do the work that is expected of them. In this case, the governors appointed, they will be elected. One organization will extend it to appointed and elected. So back to the question I asked, how do you do accountability from the newly inaugurated state? Now I made mention of something before. I think that was when Ms. Zaya had called. I don't know if some of you are familiar with this. There was something like a public complaints commission. It's called ombudsman. Okay, one is to check on government activity of citizens. Activity against the citizen. More like putting them in check and ensure that they do what is expected of them. Whether that happens now, whether we still take advantage of that platform now, is what we are not sure of. But let's assume we want to make progress. Some of you mentioned civil society, some of you mentioned NGOs, other communities. Something is going wrong in your house now. Are you going to call international community? Not because it doesn't relate to beyond from Washington we saw from to you called back. Good afternoon. I hope you understand the conversation now.
I understand you.
All right,
we just tell you my story I appointed is because somebody will move those their children and put somebody's name to claim money. Those were and this for the Commissioner for Education. Suspend that principal.
Ida, I am not asking what they have done or whether or not they should be called back or not.
I'm coming. I want to tell you now. That's why the government team brought them back. not because of anything.
We are not talking about whether you are in support of him bringing them back and I think we did that in the last hour of the show. I am saying that now having brought back, how do you demand accountability from them? That's the question.
Well, I have my own commissioner in my place, but they've never given portfolio. If they give portfolio,
how are you going to put it?
I want to you. Maybe I know the woman very well. I can go and meet her, madam. You're not doing well in this particular aspect. Try and do this thing, whether the government will go on. That's how I follow up the person.
Okay, so in that one now that is from your community, is that the one you'll be following up? Is it only that person you will follow up?
Yes, so I am from Goni. I follow their commission. I'm not from Goni. I'm from Uboro.
Thank you. Good afternoon. The other way we can hold our government accountable is one, during voting. If you know the government hasn't performed as expected, then it is for you to vote him or her out. 2, the appointees should be reported to the relevant authorities, like the commission can be written and on social media or sent directly to the government. Also, by researching Princess reported in wide registration, it was discussed in Nigerian Football Code and not only in school, has been happening in social school and later reported another school principal and the activities from Kantamadi. Thank you so much, Joshua Bong, and thank you everyone who have been a part of this conversation. I'm trying to look through okay, thank you very much. One thing of a government and a system created for the purpose of running to the day-to-day activities of a state. It's another thing for them to be doing exactly that. And then when they are not doing that, they are open to criticism. I mean, it's a normal thing. If they are doing well, yes, they're open to praises as well. But they have to be accountable to us because they are there because of us. You know, everybody says, I want to serve my people. I want to serve my people. In service comes responsibility. My name is Denise Dennis Wallow. Thank you so much for being a part of this. Just stay tuned to us. We are Nigeria.